so glad you are here to Awaken and Ascend. I'm Jennifer Regular, your host, and I am so delighted to have the Abundance Ambassador, Elaine Starling, joining me today from California. She's going to share how to partner with the divine to activate abundance. I'm super excited for this because who would like some more abundance? I do. Elaine, I'm so happy you're here.
I'm thrilled to be here with you, Jennifer. It's always a blast chatting with you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, the audience is going to love you, but let's give them a chance to get to know you a little bit. Elaine, I'm curious what inspired you on your path? What lit you up to be the ambassador for abundance?
Yeah, it was not what I was expecting, actually. I had a business that I ran that was in the advertising world. And I could tell that it was going to get more and more complicated, more and more difficult. And I didn't want to continue doing my business the way I was doing it, but I couldn't figure out how to make it better.
Hmm.
So finally, I told my husband, and this was back in December 2004. I said, I'm going to just stop thrashing. I'm just going to enjoy the status quo. I'm blessed in so many areas of my life. I feel guilty for wanting more. So I'm going to stop thrashing. I'm just going to enjoy. So then on New Year's Day, 2005, we were on vacation in New Zealand, on the South Island of New Zealand. It's incredibly beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd had breakfast. We're poking in and out of shops. And all of a sudden, I get tunnel vision with little sparkles. And then my right arm goes numb and the right side of my face goes numb. And those are all classic symptoms that you're having a stroke.
Oh, geez.
So my husband quickly walked me to a little medical center where they gave me an aspirin. And they asked me a few questions. They said, "Yep, you're having a stroke." And there's not a whole lot we can do about it. The aspirin should help. And finally I was like, could I just relax and take a nap? And they said, "Okay." I actually felt great. I felt like a lazy Saturday morning, just kind of snoozy, wanting to sleep in. And as soon as I relaxed, I felt myself inside this massive cloud. And I was a part of it, and it was part of me. And then the cloud started talking to me, and I felt it in my body. And every single question that I asked was immediately answered: past, present, future, colors we can't see, sounds we can't hear, way more than the human body can process. I got all the information I wanted, and I realized pretty quickly, Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore. I was having a conversation with our higher power, and I got a complete download about how everything works, why we're alive, how we can live our best life, and what happens next after this life. And I always tell people, don't worry about that part. It's actually a graduation. It is not an ending. It's kind of like the difference between kindergarten and first grade. Now, when I was in kindergarten, we had nap time. In first grade, no more nap time. Well, when you're physical, you have a body. When you're not physical, you don't have a body, but there's still a whole lot of stuff going on, and it's really cool and interesting and fun.
Yes.
And they just want you to focus on your physical experience. And I just want to share really quickly one more thing, because I think it's very important for everybody to understand what's going on here. Because the way it was explained to me, everything is love. Everything is love. The God of your understanding is pure love. There is nothing but love. So how do you expand the divine? How do you expand God? How do you expand love if everything is already love? You create human beings who do not necessarily believe that everything is love, right? We get to experience the joy of contrast, the difference between what is wanted and what is not wanted. And those two things cause friction. And because of contrast, we have a choice. We can either step back in fear or step forward in love. And every time we step forward in love, we actually expand the divine. This is the cutting edge of the divine. You've been here many times in the past as a physical being. You will come again many times in the future, because this is the cool place to be. This is so creative and exciting. It's like you're a surfer and you love catching another wave.
Ooh, yeah.
Sometimes they're really big and gnarly and you barely make it, or maybe you even wipe out. And you can tell all your friends about how awesome it was. And then maybe it's a really gentle wave, but you get a lot of cruising time out of it. It doesn't matter what the wave does. What matters is that you show up as your full self and really engage with the experience. and get everything you can out of the experience, because that's why you're here.
That sounds super exciting. And I love the idea of celebrating life in that way. And what I also hear, Elaine, in what you said is that we have a choice. You mentioned about moving back, going into the past out of fear, or moving forward in love. And it sounds to me that when we're given that choice and we make a decision, then we really gain momentum. So whatever the choice might be is really going to amplify based on that decision, that choice that we make. And so when we recognize our connection with divinity, then we have a conscious connection and an inherent trust that goes along with that. Trust in life in the process, and that we are being taken care of and that we are cared for as well. So, how do you go from love, which is everything? And I love the acronym for love too, that was shared for me from my friend, esoteric astrologer Malia Helson many years ago, that it's lots of vital energy. Lots of vital energy. Because, a
Yeah.
lot of people are heartbroken from love and they may not be open to be able to experience it. So that's why I love using that acronym as well, for that lots of vital energy, for people to understand it in the way that it is vitality, it's energy, it's aliveness, it's that feeling and experience of being alive. And it's so expansive and joyful and abundant. So tell us
Yeah.
about this abundance journey. How did we get
Yeah.
there?
Well, it's really interesting because I had this incredible experience, this amazing conversation with the divine during my stroke, and I came out of it with zero damage and
Wow.
very specific instructions to get back and share what I'd learned. But the challenge was, it was kind of like swallowing Google whole with all the keywords, all the connections, all the likes, all the images, all the videos, all the everything. And I'm like, holy cow, now I have to streamline and simplify this, because the human mind can only process so much
Mm-hmm.
before we hit overload. So I need to make this really accessible. And honestly, it's not me doing the work. I got very good at how to listen to the divine. And that's another story that I want to share with you, because while I was in that stroke, I have never felt such incredibly profound, deep, nourishing love in my life. And I'm blessed to have this wonderful relationship with my husband, great relationship with my family. This was like way different than that. Words don't do it justice, but yeah, talk about lots of vital energy. Yeah, to the infinite degree. And it was like at this Niagara Falls of love. It was so beautiful. So I come out of the stroke with no damage, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want more of that. I'll take that unlimited love on tap. Hold the stroke. Thank you very much. I want
Yeah.
to turn this on and just bathe in this all the time. How do I do that? Because back in my human self, that wasn't my normal way of being.
Mm.
So I did all this research and I looked at everything, and all of the spiritual texts, everything I read, it said, you have to allow. You have to open yourself up and just allow the guidance to come into you. Well, I got to tell you, I was allowing my little heart out. And every once in a while, I'd get a download, and it always felt amazing, miraculous. So one day I was getting a little fed up, and I'd done my meditation and I'm sitting for guidance, and I'm a little chapped, frankly. So I write in my journal, why isn't this allowing thing working for me? With some attitude. And I immediately got this message. What is the image that comes to mind when you think of the word allow? And now I never put this on anybody else, because no two people have the same relationship with words.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sharing my experience. You may have a different relationship with the word allow than I do, and that's perfectly cool. But when I thought of the word allow, I immediately saw myself behind a door with a chain on the door, and I'm peeking out the door at the divine, and I am terrified because I don't know what's coming. I don't know what to expect. I don't know how to predict this. I can't control it. The divine is so much more powerful than I am. I'm freaked out. And I finally realized, oh, for me, the word allow is a mind-based word, and it wants control. It wants repeatability. It wants simple steps and structure. And, a guarantee would be really nice. Yeah, that's what my mind wants. But That doesn't work in a relationship with the divine. I needed to find a heart-based word. And it didn't come automatically. I really had to think about it. I finally realized that my word is welcome. As
Oh,
soon as I started to welcome the divine, I didn't need a door. I tossed the door. It doesn't matter what shows up because I am in partnership with the divine. That was the other big message that came through is you're not some little tiny ant, down on the ground, and here's this entity up in the clouds shining down on you. No, 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 no. You're running a three-legged race and you are looped to the divine. And if you think you're all on your own and it's all on you, you're dragging the divine behind you. It's no wonder it's so hard and you're not having much fun. When you decide, no, 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 I'm going to partner with the divine. I'm going to make it really clear where I want to go. That's my intention. And then I'm going to focus my attention on everything that's working for me, everything that's contributing to my intention. And even those things that at first don't seem like they're contributing to my intention, they actually are. I'm being challenged to look more deeply to get the hidden message within the experience because every single moment is a blessing. Every single
yes.
one. It's up to us to understand what that blessing is.
It's so true. I know when there were challenging situations I've gone through, I always just take a pause, and find the power in that and asking, what is the deeper truth embedded in this? What is it that this is teaching me? Because there always is a deeper truth, a reason for it being, you know, in that way.
Yeah, I had an interesting experience just a few months ago. I was driving my husband's truck and in a parking lot. I'm backing out of this parking space, and it's kind of big. It's a big truck. And I am not the best with spatial awareness. So I'm always very cautious driving this truck. And I'm backing out really, really slowly. And out of the corner of my eye, I see somebody racing through the parking lot. And I'm thinking, boy, that is not very safe. And I'm easing my way out. And all of a sudden, somebody honks very near me. I did not look. I just kind of assumed that they were honking at me. And boy, howdy, I went from happy, happy, joy, joy to piss off in like a nanosecond, just like into my human self, boom.
Yeah.
And I started thinking all these terrible things about this horrible person and their antecedents and their ancestry. And they were just dropped on their head as a child. They were dribbled.
Oh
I
my
was just,
gosh.
really going at it. And I get this little message from the divine. I love this little bell. It's a little desk bell with a smiley face on it because it reminds me that sometimes the divine just needs to grab my attention. And I
Oh,
got this message, honey, every single moment is designed to be a blessing for you. That story that you're telling right there does not sound like a blessing. How about you make up a story that turns this into a blessing for you? And I had to think about it for a little bit, but I thought, well, maybe I was about to hit something. And whoever it was didn't have time to put their car in park, jump out, run around, knock on my window. Hey, lady, watch out. You're going to hit something. So, they saved me an accident, a lot of extra money, a lot of wasted time. So, yeah, that's a huge blessing to not have an accident. That's a big blessing. Yeah. Maybe they were just kind of giving me a thumbs up. You've got this. And as it happened, I did. I didn't think I was out far enough in the parking space, but I cranked on that wheel big time and I eased out and I made it. I made it.
yay.
So again, maybe they didn't have time to put in park, jump out, run around, knock on my window. It's okay. You've got this.
Yeah.
And then the real message, the hidden message
Mm.
hit me. I'm the only one who can let the blessing in. It doesn't matter how much you rave about me, how much anybody else says to me. I'm the only one who lets the blessing or the curse in. That's entirely on me. And so I started being much more aware of the words that I use
Mm-hmm.
and how I'm showing up. And truly, I am grateful. I live from a space of gratitude every single day. And Another technique that I've learned recently that I found incredibly powerful is called joy spotting.
Hmm.
It's where you savor just little tiny bits of joy. Maybe it's a great cup of coffee, or it's watching a bird playing around outside. It can be anything, petting your pet, your dog, your cat, whatever. Just a brief little moment of joy that you tune into that, you tap into it, you savor it. And what happens is all of a sudden you start to notice even more little bits of joy. And I got to tell you, I had the best weekend last weekend. It was
Ah,
amazing. And it was a normal weekend. It's not like I did anything special, it was all the usual stuff. But because I did this joy spotting, it
yeah.
felt miraculous. It was really incredible.
It goes to show you how we get to choose our own experience, right? Choose your own adventure. I used to love that series when I was a kid. And it's true. It's our perspective, the lens we look through, how we are open to receive things, what we welcome into our life. I love that you say welcome rather than allow. It does create a shift, doesn't it? And I
I
call
feel
those
it.
the
Yeah.
daily delights. Yeah, it is something to be felt, a felt experience, right? What rises up for you and expands you or contracts you. And yeah, I love those joy spotting. I call them daily delights or wonder, the wonder of life, the curiosity, the innocence of being able to open up, to receive, to allow, to welcome in those joyful moments. So you talked about words and how we may use them differently and perceive them differently, and abundance is one of them, isn't it? And abundance quite often is something that people will talk about in terms of money or material things. Wayne Dyer, the late Wayne Dyer, used to talk about it's not something that we acquire, it's something we actually tune into. And I hear a lot of that in what you're talking about is tuning into joy, joyful moments and wonder and love and that vital energy. And so, what are the ways that we tune in to abundance? And what does abundance mean for you, Elaine?
Absolutely. I love that question because typically, if you look in a dictionary, abundance means more than enough of
Mm.
something,
Hmm.
of anything. And what I have discovered is that true abundance comes from knowing who you are and loving who you are, the energy that you are.
Mm.
And I call this, yeah, baby, energy.
Love
It's
it.
that sensation of you're showing up someplace. You're going to connect with somebody. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know exactly how the conversation's going to go. You just know it's going to be awesome. It's going to
Yes.
be so fun. It's like a pile of presents. And it doesn't matter what order you open them in, they're all fabulous. I used to get really ticked off when I got socks as a kid. Have you seen how expensive good socks are now?
Yes.
I'm delighted when I get a great pair of socks these days. It doesn't matter. Whatever situation you're in is designed to be a blessing for you and for every other person involved.
Mm.
So I came up with 5 steps to activate your abundance. And this is truly the fastest way for you to experience abundance in every single moment of your life. Now, whatever you want to create always starts with your intention. That's what you want to create and how you want to feel as you create it.
Hmm.
It's kind of who you are being in the moment. And as I said, my whole mantra is I am grateful. I always come from gratitude. And that's
Mhm.
actually step 1 in the 5-step process is gratitude, because gratitude is the acorn of your abundance tree. Everything starts with gratitude. You don't feel love until you feel grateful for the connection. You don't feel wonder until you feel grateful for the experience. Everything starts with gratitude. So, by all means, whatever you're thinking about, whatever you're experiencing, be grateful for whatever is here for you, whatever the blessing might be. Step 2, acknowledge something you're noticing or experiencing or you heard that was a little bit of an aha for you. Maybe you just saw it in a different way, or you took someone's behavior in a positive light when in the past you viewed it in a negative light. It can be anything, but acknowledge something that is an aha for you. And then step 3 is to appreciate the difference it can make in your life. Every little thing you experience can transition and expand and empower you. So what is it doing for you that you notice this little thing? Step 4 is to activate it. And you've got 3 options when you want to activate it. This is where you actually put pedal to the metal, the rubber meets the road. The first step is to grab a calendar and schedule time to do it, or journal about it. I'll schedule time to journal, because that's how we can go a little bit deeper with the experience and really understand the key learning that's there for us. So that's one way to activate it. Another way is to create a physical trigger, like crossing your fingers or tugging on your earlobe. It's a reminder, I want to show up this way. I'm going to remember that this is important to me. The third way to activate it is to declare that, ideally to an accountability buddy, so that they're kind of monitoring what you're up to and they'll remind you. For example, I don't like to use the word want. Want leaves you wanting. So I encourage people to call me on it if they happen to notice that I'm using the word want. That's not something I want in I choose to have in my vocabulary anymore. So and it's so programmed, right? We don't even realize we're doing it. So it really helps to have somebody kind of point that out to you. So those are the 3 different ways for step 4 to activate abundance. Step 5 is celebrate your progress. This is what it looks like when you're experiencing abundance. It is not wave the magic wand and you just won the lottery. No, it is the little bits of joy. It is the way you are getting to grow. And the more you're letting more divine flow through you as you, the more you get to enjoy about your life. So yeah, it's a simple process and it is profound. It will change everything for you.
I love the idea of accumulating joy as abundance. Abundance is accumulating joy. How fun is that? And then we can jump for joy because then we get to celebrate that. Amazing.
Right.
Amazing. So it's an activation then, it sounds like.
It is an activation. It's really interesting. In my book, 5 Steps to Activate Your Abundance, I talk about how each one of those steps corresponds with one of the 5 love languages. So as you're doing it, you're actually loving on the people that you're sharing this with, and you can learn how to be very conversational in doing this. And at the same time, you're being loving to yourself. And so often we forget to do that. So it's very powerful.
Oh, that is super cool, Elaine. And I know that you gave me a link too that people can get an excerpt of your book as well. So
Yes.
all of you, make sure you check that out in the show notes. There's the book. I love it. And yeah, you can access that for free. So just pop into the show notes and take a look at that. We're going to have Elaine's website in there. And of course, mine will be in there as well, lightingthepath.ca with a couple of my free guides. Elaine, I would love for people to be able to connect with you in other ways too, directly besides downloading that excerpt. So tell us where people can find you and what kind of questions or queries would they have to be able to connect with you, to reach out to you for?
It's fine. I'd love to have you reach out to me through my website. It's theabundancejourney.com. That's an analogy for your life, because your life is actually a journey of continually unfolding and expanding abundance. There is no end to love. There is no end to abundance and joy. And that's what you deserve, is to continually experience that expansion. In terms of questions you can ask, I'd love to have people check out my show, which is also called The Abundance Journey. Jennifer's going to be on there real soon. Can't wait to have you as a guest. And you'll discover how prevalent abundance is, because honestly, it's a matter of you tuning yourself by partnering with the divine to state your intention and focus your attention. Those 5 steps are how you focus your attention. And that is what creates your expansion into abundance, unending abundance.
It's limitless, and
It
there's
is.
infinite possibilities on how you can experience that. So, Elaine, you've shared so much with us today, but I'm still going to ask you if there's anything else that you want to leave the audience with.
The biggest thing I think it's important for you to know is that you are a blessing and you are blessed. It was really interesting. One of the messages that I got when I was in my stroke and having that conversation with the divine and the cloud, one of the first things I heard was, "This is perfect." And somehow I knew that the cloud was referring to me. And being a good girl, I immediately denied it, right? I'm like, are you kidding? I'm not all that. I don't speak multiple languages. I haven't solved world hunger. I haven't climbed Mount Everest. I'm nothing. What are you talking about? And I got this message back. Oh, you don't understand. Okay, you're designed with your skills, your abilities, your talents, your interests, your preferences, and your hot buttons, your issues, your faults, your foibles, all those things that drive you nuts and drive other people nuts. And we combine those two things together, and that is perfect. You are perfect because of your imperfections, not in spite of them. So, what I really want you to understand when I say you are a blessing and you are blessed, you really truly are exactly as you are. So, please love yourself, love who you are, love who you're being, and let love flow through you with every single breath.
Ah, so beautiful. So well said, Elaine. Thank you so much for that, for everything that you shared with us today.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And yeah, what a great takeaway too, to recognize that it's the being that prompts the doing that gives you the having, right? So beautiful. Thank you so much to each and every one of you that have been tuning in to Awaken and Ascend. We're here every week, every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific. Can't wait to see you again next time. Give us a like if you enjoyed this video and share it out to your friends so they can take this abundance journey as well. Thank you for those 5 steps to take us there, Elaine.
It's great and it works. So do it.
Just do it. See you all again next time. Bye for now.